In Australia, something deeply unfair is happening. Across the country, farmers are working harder than ever, yet many are going broke. Not because they can't grow food, but because powerful companies are squeezing them dry. Right now, two supermarkets, Coles and Woolworths, control most of the food sold in Australia. They decide what's on the shelves. They decide what prices you pay, and more dangerously, they decide how much a farmer earns, or if they earn anything at all. This is not just about food, it's about power, and what happens when only two companies control an entire nation's food supply. And if you think this doesn't affect you, think again.
Welcome to The Real Central. I'm your host, Josh Gultom, and this is the place where we dive into the most unique and unexpected stories from all around the world. If it's strange, surprising, or just downward fascinating, we're talking about it here. We are a new channel, so please subscribe to our channel and comment anything down below to push our channel higher. Thank you so much, guys. Let's continue to the video.
If you walk into almost any supermarket in Australia, chances are it's owned by one of two companies, Coles or Woolworths. These two names are everywhere, in big cities, in small towns, and even in remote areas. Together, they control more than 65% of the grocery market. That means two companies are selling most of the food in the entire country. This kind of control is called a duopoly, and it's very rare. In most countries, there are many companies competing in the food market. But in Australia, just two giants make almost all the decisions. They decide what's sold, what it costs, and who gets to be part of the system. Other players like Aldi or IGA exist, but they're small. Aldi has around 10% of the market. IGA is even smaller. They can't really compete with the power and reach of Coles and Woolworths. With so little competition, fairness disappears.
According to Rod Sims, former head of Australia's competition regulator, this level of control is dangerous. He said clearly, when two companies dominate, both farmers and consumers lose. Prices go up at the checkout, and the payments go down for the people growing the food.
Coles and Woolworths don't just sell food, they control the system behind it. They go straight to producers, cutting out the middle. They don't just own the shelves, they own the roads that lead to them. For most shoppers, that might not seem like a big deal, but for farmers, it creates a deep imbalance. They're no longer partners, they're tools, replaceable and disposable.
But this story goes deeper than just who controls the shelves. The real danger isn't just about power, it's about how that power is used to trap people who grow our food. We'll uncover the hidden system behind the clean supermarket aisles, a system where farmers take all the risk and yet lose everything. You're not going to believe how it really works.
In most industries, producers can sell to different buyers. That creates balance and fair pricing. But in Australian farming, many don't have that choice. Farmers often face a simple reality: sell to Coles, sell to Woolworths, or don't sell at all. These supermarkets have spent years building their own supply chains. They go directly to suppliers, sometimes even farmers, and they set the terms, prices, volumes, deadlines, and they can cancel anytime. Fresh produce is usually sold under short-term contracts. Each week, supermarkets invite offers. Farmers compete by offering lower and lower prices just to stay in the game. The pressure is high, the risk is higher. Imagine being a berry farmer. You grow perfect fruit, harvest it, pack it, and then the order is suddenly cancelled. No payment, no explanation, and the berries straight to landfill. This isn't a rare event. Many farmers have shared stories like this. In chicken and dairy, some farmers build expensive facilities just to meet one buyer's standards. But if that buyer cuts the contract, everything collapses. The sheds are useless. The debt remains.
Supermarket shifts the risk to farmers. If sales drop, they cancel orders. If supply's too high, they pull out. But farmers can't do the same. They already planted the crops, spent the money, and can't undo it. Even worse, contracts often demand perfect quality and strict delivery, but offer no long-term commitment in return. The farmer takes all the risk, while the supermarket stays flexible. With more than 80,000 farms in Australia and pressure like this, thousands of them are slowly disappearing. The ones left are either the biggest or the most silent. Farmer groups call this a regional monopsony. In some areas, only one buyer exists, and that buyer holds all the power. In 2018, when needles were found inside strawberries, supermarkets canceled orders overnight. Farmers had to throw away their crops. No warning, no support, and no payment. All of the risk fell on them. These are not rare mistakes. This is the design of a broken system. Farmer Xavier Martin put it plainly. They've been unfair to farmers with their pricing, and we've got to break them up if they will not behave. And as long as nothing changes, farmers will stay one bad email away from total collapse. Some traps are built with fine print. Others are built with fear, because once farmer signs, it's no longer just about money. It's about what happened when saying no becomes a risk you can't afford to take. Even when farmers manage to get a contract with a supermarket, the pressure doesn't stop. In fact, it often gets worse. Behind the scenes, big supermarkets like Coles and Woolworths use hidden fees, unfair demands, and quiet threats to keep suppliers under control. One of the most common tactics is the use of extra charges. Supermarkets can ask suppliers to pay large fees just to promote their products. For example, if a farmer wants their product included in a sales catalog or placed in a good position on the shelf, they may be asked to pay tens of thousands of dollars. One supplier was told to pay $30,000 just to appear in a weekly promotion, even though the promotion was organized by the supermarket. Another fee is even harder to accept. If a farmer wants to get paid faster, they might have to agree to a 4% deduction from their payment. It's called a payment acceleration fee. This means the supermarket holds the money, then charges the farmer to get it back quicker. For small farmers with tight cash flow, this can be a heavy burden, but many agree to it because they have no choice. There's also a system where farmers are responsible for products even after they leave the farm. If a supermarket receives a damaged item, they can charge the cost back to the farmer, even if the damage happened during delivery or in the store. These charges add up, and for some farmers, they mean the difference between profit and loss. Michael Crisera from Fruit Growers Victoria stated that many farmers essentially have no choice but to agree to terms set by the big supermarkets, even if those terms are unfair. In some cases, even asking for a fair price is risky. In a leaked internal email from Coles, a supplier requested a price increase due to rising costs. The response: Coles asked for a $25,000 payment before even considering the new price. Only after that fee was paid, the supermarket allowed the higher price. This is not negotiation, it's pressure. But the most dangerous tactic isn't written in contracts, it's the silent threat of being delisted. The longer this system goes unchallenged, the more normal it starts to feel. But behind the polished stores and smiling ads is actually a quiet threat, not just to farmers, but to everyone who depends on them. The Australian government knows this is happening. Officials have spoken out, but action, it's been too slow. Dr. Andrew Leahy, Assistant Minister for Competition, admitted farmers are being squeezed. A CCC's Mick Keogh also said farmers are stuck in a system that gives them no space to move. Even Treasurer Jim Chalmers has said change is needed, but the laws haven't changed. The duopoly remains. When German supermarket chain Kaufland tried to enter the market, they gave up. Why? Suppliers were afraid. If Coles or Woolworths found out they could be punished, delisted, ignored, or cut off. That's how deep the fear goes. These supermarkets don't just control what we buy. They control who gets to sell food in Australia. So who's really benefiting? It's not the farmer. It's not the shopper. It's not the local community. It's just two companies, and if we keep allowing this system to grow, maybe we're all inside the trap too. If you like this video and want to see more deep dives into more unique content, don't forget to subscribe. We've got more coming sooner or later. I'm your host, Josh Kultam. Thank you so much guys for watching. Goodbye. Or you can check out these videos.